Hi guys, thanks for clicking on this video again. It's so nice to see you. Thanks for being here. While you're here, why don't you like and comment and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out. It makes me really happy. I think as I'm filming this, I'm at 94 subscribers, and to hit 100 subscribers would literally blow my mind. I didn't even think like 20 people would want to subscribe to me. So this is crazy. As you've read from the title, this is going to be the anti-TBR tag. Sorry, I'm looking at my computer. But the first thing that I want to talk about, I'm just squeezing it in here because I know this is going to be a shortish video. I got the hardcover editions of Mistborn. They're freaking beautiful. The artwork on these is fantastic. Fun fact, I've read the first Mistborn, loved it. I gave it like 4 stars. I can't wait to reread it actually. But I've been wanting to read more Brandon Sanderson because I've been watching a lot of fantasy small booktubers talk about it, and I snagged all 3 of those for like $40 because they were on sale on another sale where it was buy 2 get 1 free. I don't know why I want to brag about that. I'm just really excited. They're so like well made. Now to get into the actual tag. So I have been watching everyone film and put out these tags and like make these videos. Obviously we're making videos on YouTube. I personally love watching people talk about shit they don't like. I don't know why. I feel like you can really bond with someone if you guys have a favorite book series. But you can also really bond with someone if you both really hate something. And I think that's what like some of my friendships are really based on sometimes. All right, so the first question, a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. For this, I'm gonna go with Daisy Jones and the Six. I have no interest in this book. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really emotionally connect to music that much. Like, I love music, I love listening to music, I love finding new music to listen to, I love to put lo-fi on when I'm like doing shit around the house. But I don't wanna read about musicians. They just don't really interest me at all. And this book gets a lot of really, really good praise because it's like a podcast as well as a book. And I also don't listen to podcasts. So nothing about this book really interests me at all. I've read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, so I know that Taylor Jenkins Reid is a good writer. I just don't care about Daisy Jones. All right, so the next question, a classic book or author you don't have any interest in reading. Ayn Rand. I have no interest in reading anything that they've put out. I think that Atlas Shrugged can stay forever not read by me. No interest. Okay, next question. An author whose book you have no interest in reading. For this, I'm going to go with Holly Black. No offense to Holly Black, no offense to Holly Black lovers. I don't really like fae stuff at all. It's just not like, it doesn't jive with me. My dad really raised me to believe that the fae are evil and like irredeemable, so nothing about them is sexy to me at all. Like, I can really get down with vampires. I can definitely get down with werewolves. I mean, selkies, whatever, nymphs. Well, are nymphs fae? Whatever. Either way, I was raised old school, I guess, and like the fae court, the ideas of fairies, all of them, they're like the most inhuman that you can get. Like, at least vampires were once human. Werewolves are partially human. I don't know, do I sound weirdly superstitious? Probably. Back to Holly Black though. I tried to read The Cruel Prince. Her writing style was okay. There was nothing wrong with it. I hated the book, but I just can't see myself going back to her as an author, even if she puts something else out, because I just don't care. Next question. A problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. For this, I have a couple. I'm gonna go with Stephanie Meyer right off the bat. I have no interest in purchasing anything else that Stephanie Meyer writes until she raises awareness about the Native American tribe that she used in her books, or she donates to them, some sort. That's just facts on facts, baby. I have no interest in it. It's been years, Stephanie. You have the platform. Other author would be Rainbow Rowell. No interest anymore. I read Carry On and I really, really, really liked it. I think I even gave it 5 stars, which like, what was I thinking? That is not a 5-star book. I just don't have any interest in reading her work anymore. I know that Eleanor and Park, like everyone knows the issues with that. It's racist undertones and whatnot. She still hasn't said anything about it or come out with anything in regards to it. So I can't support an author who does shit like that. And then Mackenzie Lee. I had no interest in reading her like pirate books anyway, but then after I found out that she was doing that dumb shit where she was signing other authors' books, like, get the fuck out of here. You know you're not supposed to do that shit. You're an author, you know. Next question. An author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. Briley Sager. Oh my Lord, Riley Sager. I'm so sorry. I have nothing against this author. I have not heard anything negative about them as a person. I don't know them personally. I bet they're a wonderful person. I can't stand their books. I really can't. I read Lock Every Door in like 2019. It was one of my book of the month credits, so I used it to get this book, and I hated it so much that I used it as a TV stand back when me and my boyfriend were like kind of struggling and living in a really crappy apartment. That's how much I didn't like this book, and I don't disrespect books like that. So I gave that snooze fest a 1 star, and then I was like, all right, Rachel, try again. Like, what if you just didn't like that book? Because his writing style wasn't bad necessarily. It was a super easy book to get through and read. Like, he has very digestible writing. I read Home Before Dark and despised it, and I don't know how people like that book. I don't see the appeal in I see the appeal in his books because when I read the synopsis of Lock Every Door and the synopsis of Home Before Dark, I was like, yeah, I get this. These books sound good. And then I read Lock Every Door and I read Home Before Dark, and they were boring. Nothing happens in Home Before Dark. And you know, I'm not gonna spoil the book for anyone. I'm just saying that that book isn't scary. If you thought it was scary, can you explain to me why you thought that was scary? And if so, I'm gonna recommend you good horror books. Okay, I'm just being honest. Next question. A genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into and couldn't. For this, I am going to go with smut-heavy romance. I can read romance books. In fact, there are some romance books that I really like, even some romance books that have like smut scenes in them, like The Honeymooners, for example, probably one of my favorite romances I've ever read. Anytime a romance is described as steamy or like really focuses heavily on the sex scenes, I can't. How do you guys read them? They're so cringy. I can't get through them. Like, anytime the guy starts like talking all like dirty, anytime any man ever calls a girl baby girl, oh God, I like cringe inwardly into myself, and I'm like usurped into a totally different dimension of just pure awkwardness and like, ugh. And I am someone who, when I was younger, read fan fiction that had all that shit in it and loved it, but now I can't even, I don't know, I'm very puritanical nowadays, I guess. I guess the best example I could have for this would be Get a Life, Chloe Brown, which is not a bad book at all. I just hated reading it because the entire time, both characters, the only things they seemed to think about at all were sex. And I guess I just can't get behind books like that. So I really, really want to find like romance that I can get into that isn't super, super smut heavy. So I've been reading a lot of young adult romances, but they can also kind of be really cringy and weird. If you have good recommendations for romance books that don't have a lot of sex scenes in them or just don't focus too much, or for example, I read a Tessa Dare novel not too long ago and I liked it, and the sex scenes were all contained in their own chapters, so I could literally just skip those chapters and it was fine. I was just like, okay, cool. Nice. And they're not talking about anything plot specific in those chapters, so I was just like, oh, thank God. Whew. Skipping it. I hate myself. All right, next question. A book you have bought but will never read. 18Q4? 18Q4? 1Q84. I don't know how to say the title of this book. So I bought this because I was feeling so hopeful, and like, this was back before I allowed myself to read fantasy again. I went through this really weird phase where I was like, Rachel, you need to be a better reader. You need to read literature. You need to read lit fic. You need to impress people and shit like that. But you don't. You can read whatever you want, but I bought this because I've always wanted to read Murakami. I know that my mom's a huge Murakami fan, or she used to be. She gifted me Norwegian Wood, I think, when I was like 16. And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna make my mom proud. But this is a huge book, and I have read some very questionable things about the way Murakami writes women. I know it's translated work, so I know that some things can be lost in translation and stuff, but I read excerpts from this book that are just, I don't know. And it's also huge. I'm holding on to it because I'm thinking like maybe one day I will pick it up and like I will read it. Like maybe one day me and Alex are gonna go on like a camping trip to a cabin that has no internet, and I'm only gonna bring this book and I'm gonna force myself to read it. But for now, it just kind of sits, staring at me accusingly. All right, next question. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you have started and DNF'd. So for this, I'm gonna go with A Darker Shade of Magic. So here's the thing. I read the first book and I really liked it. I think I gave it a 4-star. And then I got the second book from the library and I started it, and it opened up with Lila's point of view. And I hated Lila in the first book. I couldn't stand her. I don't like her as a character, and I'm sad because this is a very well-loved series. It's very well received. People rant and rave and talk so highly of it, but I can't read a series when a point of view character grates my nerves as much as Lila did. And I don't really even have a good answer for why I didn't like her. I just didn't. And she just didn't get along with me. What can I say? The thing, what I will say is that V.E. Schwab does have a really great writing style. I am reading Addie LaRue by her right now and loving it. Like, I'm devouring that book. I'm enjoying it so much. Mare from Mare Reads was on point with that. It's a great book. A Darker Shade of Magic. There's just so many fantasy series that I can get into and that I want to get into that I'm passing on that one. Okay, so the final question. A new release you have no interest in reading. I know it's not a super new release anymore, but I am not reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, what a terrible title. I only read The Hunger Games when I was a small, young child. I read it, I think when I was like 19. Actually, yeah, because I was working at Boardwalk Fries and I remember reading it between customers. And then I never finished the series, so I only recently read the second and the third book this year, literally. And I liked them, they're great. You know, The Hunger Games is a really good series. I have 110% no interest in reading from Snow's point of view at all. I don't know why am I like, I put on this cute top to pose so masculinely. I don't know why Suzanne Collins wrote this book, and I've heard really bad things and I've heard really good things, but I've heard more bad things about it than anything else. But nope. Gonna just do a hard pass on that one. Okay, so that's the end of this video. Once again, I wanna promote my social medias down in the description. If you haven't followed me on Twitter, please do. I want to make friends so badly it hurts. Just kidding, that sounds desperate. But really, I have my Twitter, my Goodreads, and I will put my Instagram because Katrina reminded me that I don't have it in there. And let's be friends, it'd be cool. That's it for me today, folks. Thanks for stopping in. Subscribe.